that Steph Orton's got her hands on that trophy. Second season running that she's done so in the colours of Manchester City.
Oh, lovely footwork there from Weir! A special goal in a special game from Caroline Weir. That is world class. That is outstanding. A worldie from Weir.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of MCW Fancast. I'm Emma, thanks for listening. Following the international break, Manchester City women return to action in the Barclays FAWSL. They travel to Meadow Park on Sunday where they will face Arsenal. For this week's episode, I'm joined by Dave from the OSC as we look ahead to Sunday's game and how City will be looking to bounce back following recent results. But first, hear from head coach Gareth Taylor speaking ahead of Sunday's game.
Yeah, it's a tough game for us, but it's a good game for us, I think, to have. You know, when we played Arsenal last season, I think, 3 or 4 occasions we played them. We were successful in terms of result and in terms of the way we performed. That's the encouraging part for us. We're a little bit light in certain areas of the pitch in terms of availability of players, but I see it as a really good challenge for us. Yeah, and unfortunately, Steph had to return from camp quite early. She's in a boot currently with an Achilles issue. We don't know the kind of time frame on it, if we're honest, but I don't think it's going to be especially short. We're hoping it's not going to be very long. So yeah, that was obviously disappointing. And then we're still currently assessing Alex. Alex had an issue as well. So again, not ideal. I think on the other side of it, Kira's getting a little bit closer. I'm not too sure if Sunday will be too soon. It looks like we potentially lost 3 players since our last game, which was obviously Esme and Steph and maybe Alex. Hayley Rasso is still struggling a little bit as well. So hopefully that one won't be too much longer because she wasn't available. But Caroline Weir is back, is looking quite good. There's some good news. And like I say, hopefully Kira won't be too far away. I think Esme's got a real bright future in front of her. We really value her at the club. She's probably one of the players that you don't want to lose as much as you never want to lose any players. But I think someone like Esme, we've only got a few within the group that are capable of playing in a number of positions. So when you have times like these, having an Esme available is vital. We've lost that. Her surgery was successful. She's full of spirit again, looking forward to returning. We're just going to have to be patient with that. The fact that Lauren won Young Player of the Season for pretty much half a season. So there's obviously a lot of work that went into that for Lauren in that first half of the season when she was rehabbing. She made sure she got really strong, really agile, really quick in the sessions that she was working to, so that she had the best chance of not re-injuring herself, especially with the high energy game that she brings for us. I can see the viewpoint from people who are not more or less on the front line and not working with players day to day and not having had the Olympics this summer that got pushed back due to COVID-19 last year. So with that, obviously then we've now got the European Championships, which are this summer coming as well. And you just need to look at where these players are going to get some downtime. I think, especially the way the game is progressing in terms of how fast it's becoming, how physical it's becoming. I think there's high demands on players. And, unfortunately, we're in a moment where we're seeing those players breaking down. And that's not what you want. You want the very best players to have the very best ability to be able to play in these tournaments. So, from our point of view, like I said previously, I think it's something that needs to be considered. I understand that there'll be other governing bodies who probably want to really push this thing, but I think that has to be first and foremost in people's minds is player welfare. I think it's from when you have trying times and your back's against the wall, that's when you really see what people are about. And I've always said that when the going gets tough, you've got kind of 1 or 2 options on what are you going to do. And, that's great to hear that the players have got that mentality. I certainly have. We can harp on about our injury situation. We can harp on about the game scheduling, all of these things. But at the end of the day, we want to go out and be successful. And we understand that it's going to be, high volume of games at times, particularly when your squad you've not got huge player availability. I think in these moments is where you really find out about yourself. So it's exciting. I enjoy the challenge. The players are enjoying the challenge, and we're looking forward to this big challenge we have on Sunday. I think, they played 2 games already, won both, are yet to play at the venue we're about to play. So they played away at Reading and They played at the Emirates in the first game. Well, I think firstly, I mean, when you change a manager, we've seen that can bring a little bit of turbulence, and that can also bring a little bit of a lift. They look a little bit more aggressive in what they do. They try to play. I always thought that they had an identity under Joe of trying to do the right things and trying to play the right way. But I think one of the most important things is that there was minimal surgery in the summer with players leaving. They had retained a lot of their players who were out of contract, and I think that gives you a bit of a better understanding. I think when you have a new manager and a lot of new players come into the club, that can really take time for those players to bed in. So I think it's, he's in a good position, and they made a decent start, like we've said. But, we know that the season is long. They've got European competition as well to look forward to, and that can bring, it's obviously drains on the resources of the squad as well. So I think it's important that we stay in the hunt, stay in the chase, and we need to obviously go out and impose ourselves on the opposition. Yeah, no, Vicky obviously probably seems a lifetime ago that she was playing for Arsenal, but I'm sure obviously there'll be some feelings for her going into this game. With Ruby, I think she's experienced being out on loan last season, so she didn't spend a huge amount of the season last year with Arsenal. But again, yeah, she's been great in the way she's operated with us. She's been really aggressive in the way she's gone about things and really knocking on the door, like you say. So, we need that. We understand she's a young player. If she gets the opportunity on Sunday, then I'm sure she'll be ready. And yeah, I think it's important that we give young players obviously time to grow and time to develop. And sometimes that might look like more game time or less game time. But I think, regardless, having someone like Ruby here around the more senior players we have in the setup, particularly the England players as well, which, there's that link there. She's just been away with the under-19s as well with England. So I think she's moving in the right direction. Yeah, of course. I mean, they faced this player many times. It's a quality striker. There's no doubt about that. But we have our own really good players here, which we hold in high regard. And I think it's for us, it's a team game. We need to make sure that the team is functioning really well. We never rely on individuals. We obviously enjoy individual moments of brilliance that can make the difference in big games. But I think the team emphasis for us is number one, and it always will be. We need to look at defending as a whole, not just as the back four or back three or back five or goalkeeper included in that. I think our defending starts from the front. Whatever our game plan is, everybody needs to understand it and work to it and engage and understand that. I've always said that defending starts from the front line. So I think it's making sure everyone takes that responsibility and in order to give ourselves the best chance. It's the first time I've lost 2 games on the bounce. So from that perspective, people might look at it that way. But I think, there's a lot of factors that have gone into it. But one of the most pleasing things for me is that in both those games, we did lose against Real and then against Spurs home here. There was obviously some decisions went against us, but I thought that, we played really good football in large parts of both of those games. We just didn't get it right in the final bit. I think in terms of the way we work and the way we operate and the processes that we stick to, I think really allows us to kind of judge whether we're being successful or not. Success obviously is ultimately based on winning games, but I think it's always a good yardstick to have and to use as perspective when we see the way we build in terms of our build-up play and then obviously arriving in the final third. And then we know that obviously the final third is the really important part, and it's where games are won and lost. So, from that perspective, there are some real positives. If it were both games we lost where we didn't look like we were going to score goals or didn't look like we were building in the right manner, then you would probably be a little bit more concerned. But it takes time. We changed a lot of players in the summer. We've obviously lost a lot of players to injury as well. I'm kind of excited about when we get the players back fit. I think, I've always said that there'd potentially be players who come back and then we might lose others. That's the nature of football. But I think, it's actually really exciting when you look at all of the players and the quality of players that we haven't got available at the moment. What we'll be like when those players do return. Look, we always go out to try and win the game. I've never played to draw a game. I think, that's not me being foolish or gung-ho. And there's certainly been moments in the game where when it's looking more and more like a draw that we need to make sure that we secure that. So I don't want to make it sound like we're really gung-ho, but, game management is important, but I think our game plan on Sunday is to go out and win the game. You know, for us, there's nothing to fear. We know Arsenal are a good team, but we're a good team as well, and we need to obviously try and put as many wins on the board as we can between now and the end of the season. I don't think a draw would be a disastrous result, but we go out to try and win if we can. And that's what I want to see from my players on Sunday is fight and determination. And, you know, sometimes the game is not pretty. Sometimes we can't play the football that we want to play, but we need to equally be able to do that to the opposition as well. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to really show what we're about, and we're looking forward to that challenge.
I'm Lauren Hemp and you're listening to MCW Fancast.
Dave, how are you? Are you okay?
I'm fine, thanks, Emery. I hope you are too.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Looking forward to Sunday?
Yeah, with trepidation. It's a tough place to go at the best of times, and obviously with the situation we're in at the moment, we have injury concerns and Arsenal are flying. So, but it's one of those fixtures you look forward to. It's one of the fixtures we missed the most when we couldn't go last season. It's always a great day out. So yeah, I am looking forward to it.
Off of the back of an international break, and obviously we know that Steph was ruled out for the 2 games for the England camp, came back to the club. Don't know too much about her injury, but obviously we saw Alex Greenwood go off last night as well.
It's a worry. The only word I've heard so far on Alex from last night was that it was more of a precautionary move. That's what the England manager said after the game. So hopefully that's not too serious. But as you say, the injury list is unbelievable. It's a full team of international class players that are unavailable at the moment. So
like you can really put together a starting 11 of injured players. It's crazy. I mean, we've never been in a situation like this before. Peter Simpson, I mean, he sent a question in for the podcast today saying, why so many injuries? We've never had a season like it. Is it that we're just unlucky, or, you know, people have been talking about the Olympics and the impact and, you know, managing injuries and recovery, is that playing its part?
Recovery is a massive part, isn't it? That's one thing. The lack of a pre-season could be one of the reasons, without a doubt. We can't count it on some of them, obviously. Lucy's injury was one that she was carrying towards the end of last season and needed the op. Chloe, with that really unfortunate injury at the end of last season. So it's not the lack of pre-season and the Olympics aren't the only reasons, but everything. And Millie Davis is another one that had an operation in the summer. So it's not the only reason, but certainly the lack of pre-season does seem to be a talking point amongst fans. And Gareth himself has mentioned that he's never known they had to go straight into that Madrid game on the back of the Olympics. It was obviously forced upon the club because it was a one-off. The Olympics, as we all know, should have been last year. They were moved to this summer, probably a little bit later in the summer than they would have been if they'd taken place in 2020. So, you know, it is a little bit unlucky that everything seems to have conspired against us because we have so many international players. And you're talking, most of the players that are out would be first choice players. You're talking, you know, class international players like Lucy, Kira, Ellie. There's a lot of good players missing there. Any team would miss them. But it is what it is for Sunday. We've got to get on with what we've got. And hopefully, fingers crossed, some of them will be back. We don't know, as you say, about Steph. We don't know about Alex.
I mean, obviously, at the time of recording, we've not heard from Gareth Taylor. He's not done his pre-match presser yet. So any kind of information with regards to those players that might be coming back, that might be available to him, we don't really know yet. So we're a little bit in the dark about that. But like you said, Sunday, it's the hopes that he might have a few more options available to him.
Yeah, hopefully with it being like Sunday night gives him, you know, as late as possible, maybe, to see what the injuries, the ones that come back from international are carrying, such as Alex. Is it something that can be patched up or not? I'm sure they'll have a good look at that. They've had Steph back since before the first one, so I'm pretty sure they'll know. It'll be interesting to see what Gareth says. I'm not sure when his press conference is. As you say, as we're recording this, it hasn't happened yet, so we don't know where we stand, so it's hard to speculate. If we do have to use...
Typically, Dave, it'll be on Friday when the podcast goes out.
yeah, it will. And hopefully we'll get some good news in that some of them are back. If not, then we're going to have to make do amend with what we've got, because, you know, you've still got to play the game. You've still got to get on with it. So I think, well, you know, there are alternatives. I know some people have been asking me if Ruby Mace will play. Yes, it's a possibility that she will. We haven't seen Ruby play yet. Obviously, coming from Arsenal, I know the contact I've had with some Arsenal fans and spoke about Ruby. They all speak really highly of her and feel that she's going to be, you know, a real player. So, you know, this might be her time to shine. Alana Kennedy will obviously be in the squad. And it could mean, as we've seen before, someone like Georgia or Janine filling in at fullback and things like that. But as you say, it's dangerous to speculate as we speak now, because we don't know the actual squad he's got available. So it's hard to speculate, really.
Yeah, it is hard to speculate. I think for me at the moment with the right back situation, I'd much rather see Stanway drop into that right back role. I mean, it's hard if you're obviously choosing between Becky, but I really like seeing Becky play in her preferred position, because I feel that's where she's best played and best suited, and that's where we see the best of her.
Yeah, and I'd like to see, maybe if necessary, if we haven't got Steph fit, then I'd like to maybe see, as you say, Stanway at right back, Janine playing more forward, and maybe someone like Jill could come in and play in midfield and give us that older head in midfield. I mean, Jill's not really played much yet this season. I'd like to see a steadying hand in that midfield if we've got some younger players playing, and I think Jill would be ideal for that. But again, it's all down to Gareth got fit, and we're not sure who that's going to be yet. But we know there's certain players definitely out. So we've just got to wait and see, because it is difficult. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a tough game because Arsenal are flying. And they've got their front line is scary at the best of times. You know, Miedema and Beth Mead's in such great form. They've got Nikita Paris, who we know all about. So there's going to be a tough test, whoever plays, because Arsenal has, you know, started the season really well. So you know, we need to be at our best, really.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there, you know, a couple of Arsenal fans asking the question. We had one from Ryan on Twitter saying, obviously with regards to the injury problems, is it Ruby Mace's time to shine, and will she make us regret letting her go? I mean, you know, we've seen most of our new signings play a part already this season. Philippa came on for Esme against Tottenham, and I thought she did really well, to be honest. She looked quite bright, and, you know, she got stuck in. You know, obviously you never want to sort of go straight into a game kind of thing, that in the situation that obviously Esme went off and Philippa came on, but, you know, she did a good job, I thought. And, you know, it'd be nice to see probably Ruby come into the squad and see, you know, what type of player she is, for those that, you know, perhaps don't know that much about her.
Yeah, well, I think she's definitely one for the squad for Sunday, no matter what happens with these injuries. We know certain players aren't going to be back. So I think Ruby's definitely in his thinking for the squad. As to whether she starts or not, yeah, obviously depends on who's fit and who's not. But as I say, I've had a contact on Twitter with a few Arsenal fans, and when they released her to us, they were very disappointed, because they felt that she was definitely one for the future, a good player who'd shown real potential to be, you know, top class. So I do look forward to seeing her. Ideally, I'd like to have seen her in a less trying game to start with, because Arsenal away, you could argue, you know, certainly one of the 2 or 3 hardest games of the season. So it will be a baptism of fire for her if she does play. But yeah, I'm sure, you know, she'll rise to the occasion. And like I say, she's very, very well regarded by the Arsenal fans as a good player. So I look forward to seeing her. That's for sure.
Yeah. Does it make Sunday more difficult, obviously coming back from the international break and looking to pick up points that, you know, we dropped against Tottenham, obviously the 2 defeats on the bounce, if you count that, of Champions League against Real Madrid. Will you be hoping that we can go to Meadow Park, even though we know it's a really tough place for City to go to and get points? You know, should we be looking to try and pick up the 3 points and give it everything?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to go into every game to try and win it, without a doubt. But as I say, the way they've started, it's probably one of the hardest games of the season. They're going to be good this season, Arsenal. You can see that. So yeah, it's a tough game, definitely. That I'd put it up there with Chelsea away as probably the hardest 2 fixtures of the season. And it's been that. It always has been tough. It's, you know, I've seen us win there. I've seen us lose there. When we've won there, we've had to play exceptionally well. Last season, when there was no fans, we won there. I remember winning there one year, 1-0, when we were both going for the title. I remember Tony Duggan scoring a classic there, and all the times we've won there have been great close games. We've never gone there and like rolled them over or anything like that. It's always been tight. I expect the same on Sunday. If we're to get a result, I think it will be tight. Everyone will have to play so well. Does it make it harder that we've lost games before it? Probably not, because every game stands on its own. But it does make it harder. What does make it harder is obviously we haven't got what we consider to be our first choice squad to take there. That without a doubt makes it harder. And Arsenal pretty much have got their first choice squad, so no doubt they'll be favourites for the game. But that might suit us. That might just suit us. And backs to the wall. Sometimes you can put in a performance that really, really resonates, and you dig in and you hold on and you get something out of the game. But it is a tough game. There's no two ways about it. There's no point saying it isn't.
I'm just sat here trying to think. I can't think off the top of my head in the WSL specifically if we've actually drew them in the league. I think it's been a win or a loss. I can't think of a time where.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. I'm thinking certainly at Meadow Park. I've seen us lose a couple of Conti Cup ties there. I've seen us win a few league games and lose a few league games. Can't think of a draw. In the Conti Cup itself, obviously we beat them and lost to them in the finals.
I know there's been a fair few of 2-1 either way. Either way, there's always little to separate the two teams.
We beat them. I would consider last season when we beat them 2-1 and Lauren got the winner with that header. That was probably our best performance last season. I thought we were outstanding that day.
I think that performance, I think we spoke about that on the season review, was for me a bit of a game changer, that game.
That was an outstanding performance, definitely.
Picked up our momentum, and we were like, we can really compete, and it was an outstanding performance on the day.
It was. I mean, Chloe Kelly was outstanding that day, and unfortunately, we know Chloe won't be there Sunday. But we've still got match winners on the pitch. We've got Janine Becker, we've got Lauren Hemp. These players can win games. So if Arsenal aren't at it at all, we can definitely still get something. I'm not being pessimistic about it because I've seen these players win games and I know they can do it. So I'm going to go there optimistic, see what we can get. Yes, they're favourites for the game, without a doubt. They're at home. They're playing really well. They've got great players. But so have we. We've got great players as well. And hopefully that, the break from league action might have done us the world of good after a defeat. And, we against Tottenham, we finished sluggish, but we started well. So what we've got to try and do is start well and keep it going. Because we started well enough against Spurs. We got the early goal.
Yeah, we can get the early goal, set the tempo, and
the winning goal shouldn't have been allowed. There's no two ways about it. It was handball. But we didn't play well. We didn't play well in the second half of that game. There's no getting away from it. Whatever the factors are, Gareth talked about the lack of pre-season and things like that. But whatever the factors is, I'll leave that to better qualified people than me to discuss. But we didn't play well in the second half, and Tottenham did, and defended very well. They hung in there, Tottenham. The goalkeeper made 2 great saves in the first half, which if they'd gone in, we could have been well clear and got away with it. We didn't, and we got beat. It's the first time we've lost at home for a long time in the league, and we've got to start again. There's nothing we can do about that game now. We've got to look to Sunday and start again. But yeah, if we can play like we started in the first, say, 15, 20 minutes against Tottenham, but keep it going for the 90, then you've got a good performance in there, definitely. Like I say, first half against Tottenham, I think we were all quite satisfied. We got an early goal, and their goalkeeper made, as I say, 2 great saves to stop it being, us being further ahead. We all anticipated us to come out second half and push on again and get like the second goal. And then when they equalised, it sort of swung the pendulum of the game. And but Tottenham played well on the day and probably deserved something out of the game in the end. Could have done without the handball goal going in against us though.
I mean, Arsenal's form at the moment heading into this game is pretty unbelievable, and they're playing really well, as you said, this season. They've made some really good signings. Nikita Paris obviously returning to the WSL from Lyon to Arsenal. It's annoying. It's annoying that we've got to go there and Keats is there, but she's obviously bedded in really well and just like she'd never been away from the WSL.
Yeah, I was surprised at the lack of clamour. I mean, I mentioned, when she was rumoured to be leaving Lyon, I remember asking people, would you have her back at City? Because I would have done personally. But some people said to me, well, not really, no. I thought, well, she's a goal scorer. You know, she just is a goal scorer. Whatever you think about Keith, she gets a lot of goals. And, you know, yeah, it's difficult to see a player that we've supported like that play against us, but that's what it is on Sunday. And yeah, she's dangerous. And you put her with the form you're saying about Arsenal's form. I've only seen the highlights of the game, sort of thing that they've played, but both games have the write-ups and the highlights suggest Beth Mead's back to her best form, and she's played well for England as well, Beth. So you know she's a good provider for people like Miedema and Keats. So yeah, that's a great front line. And then you've got a strong midfield. You've got Jennifer Beattie at the back as well as another former Blue, who we all idolised when she was at City. So it'll be nice to see her play again. And yeah, it's certainly going to be a tough. Wherever you look at it, they've started well. Arsenal, they've got a good side. I think their Champions League win gave them a flying start to the season, and then obviously beating Chelsea, great result. So they've started on fire, and they'll be looking to continue it, won't they?
Yeah, and obviously under new management as well, with Jonas coming in. Do you think he's had an impact on the squad and that mindset? Because there does seem to be that little bit more of a cohesiveness where there was, come the summer, there was a lot of sort of niggles and, just bits going on behind the scenes and sort of people questioning kind of, with Miedema going to stay, Leah Williamson, she signed that new deal, but wasn't too sure how long she committed to the club for. And it just seems like things have really started to come back together again as a team, and Arsenal are sort of becoming a force to be reckoned with again.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I saw an interview with Beth Mead on the Women's Football Show, and she was saying that he's pretty much the opposite of the last manager, in his style and how and maybe sometimes that is a great thing for a player like a fresh brew and comes in. It was just time for a change. Last manager was successful there. He did well. Montenegro, was it? They got him from Melbourne City, didn't they? The last one, and he did well. But it seems like you say there was a little bit of unrest, and Arsenal weren't themselves last season. They were quite up with City and Chelsea, and that's quite rare because they're such a good side. They're always at the top, aren't they? They're always challenging. So they look like they're back. And from what Beth Mead said in the interview I saw, the players seem to buy into what he's brought. He seems very enthusiastic, wasn't he? He's up and down the touchline. He's celebrating the goals on his knees. And, all managers are different in the way they handle. He seems to wear his heart on his sleeve, and he's pretty much the opposite to the last manager. And maybe the players love that, and they've enjoyed it. I would imagine he's probably changed the way they train and everything.
It's quite rare to see a manager like that these days. I'm not just talking about the women's game, men's game as well. Somebody that obviously express themselves in the way that he does, and it's quite refreshing, I think.
You've got your reserve managers who don't do, it's all going on in the head, but they don't look, look calm on the outside. You've got ones who kick every ball, like Klopp does that, doesn't he? When he's watching Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, he celebrates and he punches the air when they score and stuff. Whereas other managers, they don't flinch, but they're probably just as happy. But, there's room for both, definitely. But the guy at Arsenal comes with a good track record. The players, from what Beth said, seem to really enjoy what he's brought. And it's like a fresh broom sweeping clean, and they're all raring to go. And they've certainly started the season well. They've got a good draw in the Champions League, which they've won and gone through. So that'll have picked them all up. Well, great, because you want to be in the Champions League. And to beat Chelsea. And if they beat us on Sunday, they will definitely consider it to be a fantastic start because they'll beat the two main rivals for the title. Yeah. And that's all you can. Yourself, those games can be so pivotal come the end of the season. Those can be the games that make you second or champions. So if they can beat us on Sunday as well, from their point of view, they'll be flying. Obviously,
Sunday offers a little bit of something different in terms of a tactical game. And I remember always speaking to Nick, and Nick always said, to win against Arsenal, you've got to look to Miedema, you've got to isolate her. But it kind of seems there are a lot of players within that Arsenal squad at the moment that you've got to think about.
Definitely. As we were saying before, they've got such a good, strong attack. They've got a really strong midfield. So they create a lot. I mean, Leah Williamson, Kim Little, Ford, they're all good players. You could name them all, and they're all great players. Then you've got the attack we mentioned before, so it's going to be tough. It's the sort of game, if you're going to win, as we said before, we've got to dig in, and everyone's got to be at it and really, really get stuck in and play as a team. I think we definitely need to play as a team, and it'll definitely need to be for 90 minutes to get a result. But we can do that. We've done it before, but it will be tough because Arsenal are such a good side. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not, because I know they are. They've got great players who are in great form.
And obviously after Arsenal, we've got a really quick turnaround again, because then we're thinking FA Cup.
FA Cup's next Wednesday, isn't it, Leicester? So, yeah, I mean, again, it could depend. Those extra 2 or 3 days could make a big difference to someone being back in the squad. Obviously, we'd have to take stock after Arsenal, because as you mentioned before, a massive part of the modern game is recovery, and you don't get much recovery in certain weeks. So there's that to take into account. But yeah, the Leicester game's massive, yeah, because it's the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. You're only 2 games away from Wembley. Leicester will think exactly the same. So yeah, that's another big game, one after the other. And if we don't get the result on Sunday, they're going to need picking up for Wednesday, because Wednesday is important, especially if we feel that we lose something, we're falling behind in the league. Then for me personally, the cups become even more important. You think, right, well, let's have a cup run, because a cup run picks you up. A Wembley final. There's a chance of 2 FA Cups this season. We're in the quarterfinals of the first one, so let's go for it. But again, it won't be easy, because Leicester will be thinking exactly the same thing. They're only 2 games from Wembley, so we'd have to wait and see on the squads. Again, it's difficult for us to speculate, even on Sunday, never mind next Wednesday, about the team, because we don't know who's fit.
It is, like you said, it's really hard. And the games are, even though we've been on an international break, obviously thick and fast. I mean, last season Gareth was talking about how they like the quick turnarounds, but I guess if they gave him an extra week, he'd take it at the minute.
Yeah, I think he would at the moment. I mean, he can't have, no matter what he thought about pre-season, Olympics, whatever, he cannot have speculated for this injury list. It's unbelievable. I saw Molly Hudson last night listed our injuries, and there was that many, she forgot one of them. She didn't put Millie Davies on it, who probably, given that Millie came into the squad last season when we had a few injuries, would have been now playing.
After she did that, I blocked her.
So you can't speculate for an injury list this long. It's ridiculous.
And the thing is, you can't avoid it at the moment either, because every other tweet is talking about Man City's injuries.
Yeah, it's not an excuse. I mean, people would say you're using it as an excuse if you get beat, but it is an excuse, because most of them would be playing. That's a fact. You know what I mean? So other teams wins last season when they had long injury lists.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal had a lot of injuries last season.
They did. And, other teams moaned like mad, didn't they, after Christmas, because they had a long injury list. It is what it is, though. We've still got to play. But, yeah, is it a factor? Of course it is, yeah. Without a doubt, because most of them would be starting the game if they were fit.
Let's see what things look like on Friday. Hopefully we'll get some good news from Gareth Taylor. Hopefully there'll be players that have been out injured, and will be back available for selection. Or if
I hope so.
On the bench, give us a bit more in terms of options.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have the players that are available to us at the moment are still quality players. They're still professional enough to be able to go out and do a job and get a job done. Obviously, we didn't see that against Tottenham. It was a really bad day and a really bad game. And I'm sure they'll have had plenty of time to think about that, and hopefully we'll shift the mindset upon returning to the club following the international break. We've still got time to prepare and get the team back together and hopefully work on a few things as well.
It'd be great if we could have a few of them back. If Caroline Weir could be fit, or Alex's injury isn't too bad, it'd make a big difference, because it's a lot of experience going into the team then as well. It helps all the other players pull through. See players like that alongside you. So hopefully Steph as well. We don't know the level of the injuries. Like you say, we'll find that out on Friday. People listening to this podcast, by the time you listen to the podcast, you might know yourselves, because you might have seen it, what the situation is, and we might be doom and gloom here, and it might pick up a little bit. So, we'll see. But whoever's there, we'll be there. We'll be supporting them, and we'll give it. The 11 players that come out on that pitch will get full support, and we'll go for it, because that's what we do.
Definitely. Proper away day, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Sunday. And it's going to be a late one. And I know you've got a little bit of travel information for
I
fans.
have, yeah. It's
Not done this for a while.
we haven't done this for 2 years, have we? It's a fantastic away day. Arsenal away is one of the games you look forward to. It's a shame that it's as late as it is, because a lot of people can't go because they've got to get back to school and work Monday morning. Unfortunately, that's the side effect of it being on Sky TV on Sunday evening. And also, I believe the Arsenal fans are not too happy because Arsenal men are at home at 4:30 to Spurs as well. And I've seen a few of them saying they're not going to be able to make the game because of that. So, it's the TV schedule. It's an old enemy for women's football, these TV schedules. We've spoke about it many times, but yeah. So, yes, as you say, Emma, it's a 6:45 kickoff live on Sky TV. I'll give you the full address of where they play. We haven't done this for a while, so some people might not have all this detail. So Arsenal women play at Meadow Park, which is Boreham Wood FC's ground. And the full address is Browhinge Road, Boreham Wood. And the sat-nav code for anyone that needs it is WD65AL. Tickets are available at the moment online on Arsenal. If you go on arsenal.com and select the women's section, it's nice and easy to navigate to it. You can buy tickets, you buy them, and then they send you an email, which you print at home yourself. There's category 1, which is reserved seating in the main stand, which I think seems to be more or less sold out now. Category 2 is unreserved seating in the west stand, which is opposite where the dugouts are, or standing behind the goal on the terracing. And as I say, it's unreserved. That tends to be where we gather. So any City fans that come and want to come and sit with us, that's where we'll be, in the west stand. That's unreserved. You book it and print it yourself. There will be tickets available on the day, I'm told, by Arsenal, providing it doesn't sell out. And given the time and the fact that Arsenal men are at home, I don't think it will sell out. So anyone that can't print their own, you should be okay if you turn up early to buy a ticket on the day. The prices are £8 and £4 for seniors and children. However, if you buy online, per transaction, there is a £1.95 handling charge as well. Not per ticket, but per transaction. So just bear that in mind. The turnstiles, if anyone hasn't been before, you can go in either on the main car park of the ground itself, which takes you into the south stand, but you can walk around the whole ground once you're inside, or you can go in off the Brook Road car park as well, which is on the other side of the ground. There's 2 sets of turnstiles. Either of them you can go in no matter where you sat, because you can walk around the whole ground. Talking of parking, for anyone that's not been, there is no parking whatsoever at the ground. It's a very small car park, and it's staff and players only. So there's no parking whatsoever for supporters at the ground. However, there is a car park literally 2 minutes away, which is free on a Sunday. Most of you who've been before will know it, but I'll give the details anyway. It's the Brook Road car park. It's literally 2 minutes away. And the sat-nav code for that is WD65HJ. And that's where I would advise anyone to park, because it's quite close, it's free, and it's it's the handiest one. There is train travel. Anyone that doesn't know, Boreham Wood's ground is right next to Elstree Television and Movie Studios, where all your big films are made. Star Wars, James Bond, and all that's made literally around the corner. So the train station there is Elstree and Boreham Wood Station. You get off there, and it's only 5-10 minute walk to the ground as well, if anyone's coming on the train. The programmes are available inside and outside the ground usually, and are £2.50. And that's all the info that I have. If anyone has any specific questions, if they DM us or get in touch with us on Twitter at MCWFC_OSC, I will endeavour to find out any answers that you want. But most of the stuff you would need if it's on arsenal.com. There's disabled tickets, there's children's tickets, there's adult tickets. You go on arsenal.com, select the women's team section, and it says buy tickets. Go on there, and it's pretty simply laid out for everybody to see. And that's what I'd advise you do. But I would advise people to buy the tickets in advance if possible. Don't want anyone being left out on the day, even though they had said they'll sell them on the day.
Yeah, you really, really wouldn't want to trek all the way down to London and then get there and then not be able to get a ticket. So yeah, definitely advance purchase is advised.
Yeah, definitely. And that's it. As you say, it's the first time we've done a travel update for a while. Those of you who've been before know what you're doing. Those that you haven't, I'll just give the sat-nav code once again, WD65AL, and that's Meadow Park, Boreham Wood.
Real,
nice ground.
Yeah, it is a nice ground. I can't make it, obviously, because of work and getting back. So
disappointing.
a lot of the reason why many fans can't make the trip as well.
That's it. Yeah, it's difficult because it's such a late one. You're going to be very, very late back, and some people have got early starts Monday morning, and then that's unfortunately the side effect of these games being on TV at the times they're at. But that, as I said to you, Emma, that's an argument we've had many times, isn't it, over the past?
I'm glad it's on Sky Sports, though. I have been really impressed with the coverage, to be honest.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I mean, I've been at most of the games they've shown so far, but yeah, it's good. You know, they're doing it properly and covering it well. So anyone that can't go, at least you can sit and watch the game and cheer us on from home.
And we're just going to talk about the OSC's brand new handbook that's out for the season. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that, because that's available to purchase for fans?
It is indeed, yeah. We launched it at the last home game against Spurs and sold a lot. A lot of people came over and bought one of us. It's again compiled by Andrew Walden, the renowned City author. He's put together, obviously it was a little bit harder this year because we weren't at the games last season. So, we like to split the yearbook into two sections, basically. There's like a review of the previous season, and then we have a lot of fans features and things looking forward to the new season, and articles that fans have written for us. So there's articles from journalists, there's articles from supporters. There's some obituaries, unfortunately, of some loved friends that we've lost over the last year or so. And then Andy's done a full review of last season, looking back at it, looking back at the fixtures, the games, looking back at the EDS sections, how the youth team did and things like that. All the usual things are in there. Got a lovely bespoke cover as usual, designed by Leslie Ross. This time it's Ellie Roebuck with the FA Cup, if anyone's seen it. I'll post a few pictures on Twitter. And it's available, you can buy it from us direct. It's £10 a copy, or we can, you can buy it from us at a game, or you can order one online. We do about 2 post runs a week, usually at the start and the end of the week. We've been sending a few out. And we just charge £2 for UK postage anywhere in the UK as well, if you order it online. So what I will say, it's probably thicker than usual this year because we've overcompensated with not being at the games last year. We wrote more articles, and Andy thought, well, we'll put them in, and because people have taken time to write them, and we'll get them in there. So hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. It's a great handbook. I've not got a copy yet, but I will pick up one soon. I've obviously seen a few people with them at the games and stuff and had a quick flip through. So yeah, it's a great book, great companion for the season as well, and great to obviously keep and just to sort of reminisce about on seasons gone by as well.
Yeah, it's good. I've got that. This is the 4th one we've done now, so it's building up a nice library on the bookshelf, and nice covers by Leslie every year, trying to keep them quite uniform. So that it's great that people contribute, and we'll be doing one again next year, and we'll be asking for articles off people this year as the season goes on and what have you. So yeah.
No, that's brilliant, Dave. Right, so just before you do go, let's get a cheeky prediction then for Sunday's game.
I'll be positive, and I'll be positive and say it's going to be backs to the wall, and we'll get a draw. You said we've never had a draw, so let's say we're due one, 2-2.
I know we've not had a draw recently. I can't think too far back.
But I'd say, if we get a draw Sunday, I think it's a good result, given the circumstances. So again, we're waiting on the team that we're going to play, but I'll go for a draw. 2-2.
2-2. Oh, that would be.
What do you think? Go on, be brave, be positive.
I was thinking 1-1.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, if we get that.
I'll go with 1-1.
Be a great result. Something to build on, and then the Leicester Cup game after that. So, let's be positive. Win, lose or draw, we'll be there against Leicester, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, Wednesday is looking like a really big game, and I really would love to see City progress in the FA Cup. It'd be amazing if we can retain that trophy for a 3rd time. I think that would be really a big success on the club's part.
I've got my heart set on a Christmas Cup final as well. So, Wembley, early December at Wembley, it'll be brilliant. But I'm sure Leicester fans will be thinking the same thing. So, as you say, it's going to be difficult. But I'm looking forward to both the games.
Definitely. All right. Well, I won't see you on Sunday. but enjoy the game, and I will definitely see you on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, yeah, we'll see how our predictions did.
I know.
Yeah, all right, thanks, Emma.
I'm never any good at them anyway, you know this.
Neither am I. You want to see my fantasy football team?
Game, honestly.
Awful. But like I say, if anyone needs any more advice, get in touch with us on Twitter and we'll sort that out for them for Sunday or next Wednesday. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Emma, take care.
Yeah, you too, Dave. Take care. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Esme Morgan and you're listening to MCW Fancast.
And that's it for this episode of MCW Fancast. We'll be back on Tuesday ahead of our eagerly anticipated quarter-final tie against Leicester City in the Women's FA Cup at the Academy Stadium. If you're unable to travel to Sunday's game against Arsenal, you will be able to watch the game live. It's available on Sky Sports. Coverage starts at 6:30 with a 6:45 kickoff. If you're outside the UK, it will be available to watch on the FA Player. Thanks to Dave for joining me on this week's show, and thanks also to Charlotte for editing this week's podcast, and we'll be back on Tuesday. See you then.